Okay, guys, so Nvidia announced DLSS 3.5, which brings a new technology called Ray-Reconstruction, which we're going to be talking in this video. I think this technology is very impressive because they are accomplished something that for some time, we didn't think it was possible, which is to improve the graphics of the game, especially with regards to illumination using ray tracing. In this video, Nvidia goes into detail on how the technology works, so let's take a look.
AI is transforming the world, and computer graphics is no exception. 5 years ago, we introduced DLSS, which revolutionized graphics with better speed and better image
So this we can see how the gist of how DLSS works.
quality through artificial intelligence.
So, but DLSS, in terms of how it works, it seems that it is just a autoencoder, not a generative model. So, which kind of autoencoder brings some information back, but I don't know how they think of their approach right now.
Since then, the AI model behind DLSS just keeps learning,
Right now, you
with
can see
new
the
capabilities
huge
such as
FPS
frame
boost that you
generation,
get by using
increasing
DLSS.
rendering speed by up to 4x with excellent image quality.
4x, but using frame generation. So
today, neural rendering takes the next big step forward with DLSS 3.5. DLSS 3.5 improves ray tracing with a new AI model that is more accurate and more beautiful than traditional rendering methods. Let me show you how. First, we need to understand how a ray
so here we can see how the technology works. Traditional ray tracing lighting pipeline.
traced image is computed. The game engine has the materials and geometry for the scene, but that doesn't tell us how the scene looks because we haven't computed how all the lighting interacts with the scene. To compute the final image with ray tracing, we send rays into the scene to interact with.
So there is the raw scene, then they apply illumination, the illumination effects,
the lighting and geometry. But we can never send enough rays into the scene to understand exactly how the scene looks because there are so many.
So this is just roughly how an image would look like if there weren't the noisers, which would take the noise here.
Pixels, and because the rays don't distribute themselves,
we're learning quite a lot here.
Evenly throughout the scene. There's always holes in our understanding of every scene. Even offline ray tracers have to deal with this problem, and we do this by using denoisers.
I'm going to take this.
There are multiple kinds of denoisers for every frame that are combining information across.
So this is how the denoising works. So they have a temporal accumulation and they have a spatial interpolation.
Pixels in the frame by blending them together, and across multiple frames by accumulating information in order to come up with our best estimate of how the scene looks. Denoisers have a few common challenges. Denoisers accumulate pixels from prior frames, in effect stealing rays from the past in order to increase detail, but they do so at the risk of introducing ghosting and removing dynamic lighting effects. For example, here you can see ghosting that's introduced when the.
So what causes ghosting is because they need to store information from previous frames or to be able to use these frames for. Okay, that's interesting.
Denoiser grabs information from the past frame in the wrong place. And you can.
I thought that they would just use motion. I thought when RTX was launched, thought that they would be using some kind of deep learning denoiser for ray tracing. But it seems that this wasn't the case, but now they are doing it, which is very interesting. I thought they were doing before.
Also see in this example that the global illumination effects in this image were removed by the denoiser. Similarly, reflections can have lower detail because the denoiser blends information across the frame. The detail in this reflection was reduced because the denoiser blurred pixels together. These days, ray tracing is followed by upscaling, and that makes the job of the denoiser even more challenging because the denoiser naturally removes high-frequency information in order to make a smooth image. Denoising is a difficult task, and upscaling is a difficult task. With AI, we have the opportunity to bring them together and train one model that's able to use all the available information.
One model to roll them all, right?
And to solve both problems together.
With DLSS
3.5, we are introducing Ray-Reconstruction.
They do have a very complicated pipeline here. So there's the rasterization. They also have motion vectors. So for the input for the neural network is the high frequency simple rays and the geometry. There's a multiplication here, right? Sign. So the input for the network is the hyperextensive input data, geometry, and the motion vectors. And there's also a temporal feedback of 4 keyframes. There's an optical flow accelerator. This gets the optical flow field. Does this pipeline, it's the frame generation or without frame generation? This one is the with frame generation. Why do they add optical flow accelerator here? This is why Nvidia says that DLSS 3 doesn't work on Turing or Ampere, is because they have weaker flow accelerators and Lovelace has stronger flow accelerators. That's why.
Construction, which runs on all RTX GPUs to provide the best image quality for ray traced effects by incorporating additional inputs.
But are they using a autoencoder or they're using some other model? That would be interesting to know.
From the game engine and a new AI model that does both super resolution and ray reconstruction at the same time. DLSS 3.5 is trained on 5 times
Okay, so we can see here on the
more data than DLSS 3.
So they added additional engine data. So they taking more. So I think for games to incorporate DLSS 3.5 is gonna take a while because it's not just swapping DLLs as was with DLSS 2.
This was necessary because of the diversity of ray tracing effects that the model needs to recognize and work with. We've trained this new DLSS model to recognize many different ray tracing effects to make smarter decisions about temporal and spatial information reuse, and to retain all the high-frequency data that's necessary for high-quality upscaling. Ray reconstruction
this one looks way better with DLSS 3.5. So the first thing is DLSS off, and they do use that kind of. So this denoising, I think I saw something like this using OpenCV that you could do, but I'm not exactly sure on how this works on games.
And denoisers. The DLSS
actually, I'm kind of thinking of making a video on this actually.
AI is trained on a huge data set of images created using an offline rendering process with far more computation than could be available in real time. The AI then recognizes certain patterns that correspond to effects such as global illumination and uses information from its training process in order to reconstruct a more realistic and dynamic image. DLSS ray reconstruction generates higher quality rate when you're previewing a scene before committing to a final render. Altogether, DLSS gives you several AI-powered options to increase performance, enhance image quality, or both.
So here we can see the list of GPUs that support DLSS 3.5. So Ray Reconstruction works on all GeForce RTX GPUs, which is great because people don't need to update to be able to get this feature. And frame generation is good, but it does have the penalty of input lag. And I would be curious to know how bad it is. I don't think it's that bad if you are playing above or close to 100 FPS because each frame doesn't take that much time. But if you're playing at 30 or 60, I think the input lag would be noticeable. But I think 100 FPS, you wouldn't notice the input lag. It's way too fast, actually.
It's all possible thanks to the specialized tensor cores in every RTX GPU. Let's see how it all comes together. We have a scene from Cyberpunk 2077 in RT overdrive mode. It's beautiful, but it's not playable without AI to improve the experience.
Do you guys, one thing that I think it is interesting is because it seems that Ray Reconstruction generates better ray tracing than natives. So this is native with ray tracing.
It's beautiful, but it's not playable without AI to improve the experience. We start
this is
by enabling
super resolution.
DLSS super resolution. DLSS super resolution reconstructs a 4K output.
It looks not that
from a much lower resolution input and provides a huge performance boost and great image quality. But we can do better. Next, we turn on DLSS frame generation.
So now it is generating frames. So that improves the frame rate even more.
Which analyzes sequential frames in order to create additional frames that further increase smoothness. Finally, we can turn on DLSS.
Here, I see that DLSS 3.5 gives a better scene, it seems. But anyways, it is way more vivid. It has more ray tracing. So DLSS 3.5 actually improves the ray tracing, not just performance. It improves ray tracing, which is very interesting to see.
DLSS Ray-Reconstruction, which
You
further
guys think the DLSS 3.5 has better ray tracing? For me, it does in this scene. It might be handpicked by Nvidia, but for me, it does seem to have better ray tracing.
improves image quality for ray traced effects, and in this scene also improves FPS just a bit. The reason that can sometimes happen is that we're replacing multiple denoisers with one AI model. In general, the speed of games using ray reconstruction is going to be about the same as the speed of games without. 5 years ago, we started a revolution.
Yeah, very interesting, guys, to see. Let's see some of the comments. Okay, older RT titles. Yeah, I think that older games would benefit a lot. Games such as Control, Battlefield 5, because this improves ray trace. It's not about just performance. It improves ray tracing quite a lot, making technology compatible with the org. Move. Congrats, Nvidia. People are praising Nvidia because they brought this technology for all RTX cards, which is a good move. And we kind of still kind of waiting for AMD to release FSR 3.0. It has been a while. I think it has been almost 9 months since AMD announced that they're gonna make FSR 3.0 or FSR 3. They have their conference tomorrow, I think. So tomorrow, AMD, I think, is gonna release the rest of the RDNA 3 lineup, which is the RX 7800 and RX 7700. Probably announce FSR 3 and other news, maybe another software, because they announced that they're gonna bring something big, probably the new GPUs. But yeah, Nvidia, it's way ahead of AMD in this regard with their technology. And we can take a look at the benchmark that Nvidia spent a lot of money working on AI, and they are profiting, guys. We saw the revenue from Nvidia and they are making a lot of money. The evaluation was $1.2 trillion, so they are $1 trillion company right now because of the AI hype that is going on now. I really like how good CUDA is for deep learning. It's really good. I hope that AMD would invest more on their deep learning software stack, which would provide us with better processor performance GPUs, because Nvidia now is not going to charge less for their GPUs, either for gaming or for other workloads, because they don't have competition in this regard. That sums up the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys in the next one. Peace out.